Welcome back in, y'all. We are Black Girls Talking TV, where we bring the group chat to life and discuss all your favorite TV shows. Today is all about hometown dates and Bachelor Nation. If you aren't already, make sure you hit that subscribe and notification bell so you can stay tuned to all of our recaps. I'm Victoria. I am a psychologist in New York and Illinois.
And I'm Kamaria. I am a lawyer in the DC area and a pop culture writer. And so let's get into it. This week is hometown. So this is my first time experiencing hometowns, and they were kind of cute. We're going to go in, I think, the fan favorites order from, we're going to start with Litia and then go to Juliana's and then Zoe's and then end up with Dina's. So Latia's, we were all waiting to see how the family was going to embrace him. What did you think? Because everybody else's, I was kind of like one eye on it, one eye off. But this one, I was like, okay, well, let me see. How y'all smiling? How y'all acting? What's happening?
Yes, everyone seemed very welcoming and open arms to Grant. I think that he is in awe with this idea of like joining a really big family. And so I think him just seeing that, even though he probably was super overwhelmed just with this lurking idea of like, will her family accept me? I think the idea that they just had this super huge family, they were out there playing the games, right? Like, and they were having fun in ways that he probably wouldn't anticipate, right? Like, because you think of those things, you think like there's probably going to be like music, dancing, spades, liquor.
Not no spades, not there. He felt like, let me introduce y'all. New family tradition. Let me bring this to the family.
Right. The cookout, really.
Yeah, kids gonna be in there like, all right, cousins, this is what we do. Deuces wow, like
none of that with Latia's family, but they seem very welcoming and with open arms. So I absolutely love that. I felt a sense of ease, I think, going out of that date for him.
Yeah, I would agree. And I thought that, like, it seems like the parents, especially her mother and her father, they seem to be very clear on the fact that it's okay for him to not be Mormon. I don't know where Litia stands on that though, and I don't know where her position is. I think she said she wants the kids to be raised Mormon, and I'm not sure where he is on all of that. So that's still a question. But as a whole, it does seem like he's going to be able to be himself and enter into this family. I would have liked to see and hear from the brothers a little bit more, because she has two brothers and apparently they had like 4 kids each or something like that, the grandfather was saying. So I would have liked to hear a little bit from them, just a little bit, just to see what that, because like they're in a similar, they're younger than him, but they're not like kids. I think they're younger than Litia, right?
Right. They're her younger brothers, but no, they're not.
I would have liked to see that, like, bro, sort of like, what's that dynamic like? And I also would have liked to see what their opinions are as, like, that was just a question mark for me. That's the only thing I did. There was a question mark. Everything else, the grandfather talking about how there was just never a question with her father, and that gave you a little bit more ease and stuff like that. And so
it was so cute.
The who?
The conversation with Latia's grandfather and her. Yeah, I got a little misty-eyed there. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's just how you hope a father figure would respond to someone that you bring home, and the fact that he was like, I've never seen you like this.
Yeah, no, people kept
if you say he's the one, then I'm on board and I believe it.
Yeah, that was nice. And then they said they loved each other, or like were falling for each other, falling towards love. And so that was cute. And you definitely can see that he likes her.
Yeah. I think I feel like it's Litia. Like,
I think she's up there, but I am not sure quite yet because so many people, like sometimes people get spoilers and so many people keep talking about Juliana. I don't personally see it. I don't know when we I guess I don't know if whenever we move into that, we can talk about that. But I don't personally see it with her. And so the fact that there's so many people who are like Juliana, 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 like it gives me some sort of concern that maybe there's like spoilers that are out there because people actually know they're living their life,
Yeah, that is
together
true.
or apart, and
Yeah.
people may know something. So that's my only concern. But I do like Latia the most. But also, I wonder if how much they have talked about this Mormon expectation and Latia's expectation for him as a whole, I mean, she seemed to be fine kissing him in front of her family, so that it didn't seem to be like overly strict or whatever. But I, I I do have a little bit of concern. I think they really like each other the most, but I wonder have they had the big discussions, and I really wonder like what ultimately will Latia be looking for. It was interesting that all her family kept saying like, "Oh, she's ready to have kids. She's ready. She's ready. She's ready." And so I'm like, okay, they about to pop out a little baby.
Yeah. When they kept saying that, I was thinking like, is Grant ready? Like, I know
Yes,
he wants
wondering
kids, but
too.
like, is he ready to just like dive in that, right? Like I was
Yeah.
already kind of feel like the last Bachelor, they're not married yet. Like they're still in the engagement phase. Joey.
Okay.
So I who knows? We'll see. I did love the conversation that Latia was having with her mom when her mom was when Latia was like, I'm concerned with the overnight dates, like if he sleeps with
Oh
anyone,
yeah, yeah.
how that's gonna make me feel. And she was like, don't worry about it. You know?
Mhm,
Why is there this expectation? And I was like,
mhm.
okay, maybe she a little cool girl around the block.
I
You know?
know, right? I know, right? Because that is a very, very like relaxed, chill vibe mom sort of answer. And I do think that's the only answer for something like this, to be honest, because this is the experiment. This is the experience. I do think it's incredibly weird to be like, I'm going to be engaged to this woman tomorrow, and I just slept with this other woman tonight. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like, maybe you just wanna know, like, if you're a guy, like, you wanna know, like, not saying, like, you wanna know sex-wise, like, if you're
They be wanting to
compatible.
know. People be wanting to know. Women want to know, you know?
But yeah, no, that part too, but I'm saying, like,
Test before they jump.
yeah, I can see that, but on top of that, it's like, I wonder if it's just like I am going to have sex with all these women because if this is about to be the last person I'm going to have sex with, I want to make sure that I feel like, I've had sex with them and I'm choosing to step into this relationship with this person over these women that I've experienced to the nth degree. I can't experience them no more deeply than I've experienced them, and so there's no wonder. But I know for a fact what I'm walking away from. Like I wonder
Yeah,
if that's some of like what's in his mind as opposed to being like, I'm not gonna do it, and then it's just like that question of like, what would that have like? Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know.
I think that's what makes this whole thing just cringy as hell. You know?
Yeah, yeah, it's very hard. But if they do a long engagement, like you said that the Joey guy did, then it's like, meh, it's just like it's really not an engagement. It's like this is when we decided to become exclusive. That's
Right, right.
really what it is.
And I think
So,
it's necessary, right? Because if I'm watching this back and I'm the one that is sitting next to Grant and we're preparing to go down the aisle or we're thinking about it, my feelings are hurt.
oh yeah, I wouldn't be watching those episodes.
Yeah, like my feelings are straight up hurt. Like to know that you were developing these connections with all of these women to this level and like you told multiple people things that you told me.
Mhm.
I could not I don't know if I could move past it, child.
Yeah, no,
I
I
wonder
feel
if they
you.
get like some type of therapy through Bachelor to get through this. Like some couples therapy or something.
I feel like anybody who goes on national television, you probably should just had a little therapy in your back pocket. Let it help you ease back into normal life, ease back into the transition. So yeah. I don't know. Do you have anything else about Latia and this dynamic
No, I think
that
the question you raised, the about the Mormonism, the Mormon faith, like, how is that
Mhm.
gonna actually, like, okay, great. Now you know that you're accepted by the family. Now,
Yeah,
how is this gonna impact your family in your day to day? I
true.
am still very curious to see what his mother says about
Mhm.
this. Um, because mothers and their grandkids, like, it's a thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's real. And he said he was raised in a strict household, strictly religious household. I'm
Right.
wondering, is she still strictly in whatever faith she was in? I think I would assume Baptist or whatever, but is she? And if the mother, and if she is, will she have strong opinions about it? Because like I was raised in a more spiritual household than religious, but like my parents were, especially my mom was raised in a very deeply religious household. And whenever I went to my grandma's house, we went to church. In this house, you go to church. And so, like, that was very, like, you can sometimes have, like, those kind of competing, uh, grandparents, like, trying to, like, be like, "I made it they made a miss it. My baby made a miss it, but you gonna get it,
Right.
grandchild."
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I grew up in a super religious household. My father was a deacon, my mom
Hmm.
First Lady's aide. We
Oh,
went to church multiple times through the week, and I
yeah.
knew from the jump, like, if I brought anybody home who was not a believer in God and Jesus, it was gonna be a problem.
Ah.
I would have been prayed over holy oil and everything for I don't know how long.
Yeah, no,
Even to
yeah.
this day, I feel like if I dated somebody who wasn't a Christian, it probably, would be a problem.
Religion is a very interesting thing. It divides us, but then it's like your personalities really can match outside of this religious mismatch.
Yeah.
um, but you know,
So on to Juliana.
mhm,
I know me personally, I didn't have like too many opinions
mhm,
about that hometown. I'm still not too like convinced or understanding why her and Grant have such a large connection. And I actually thought like maybe this is the week that Juliana was gonna go home over
mhm,
Dina, even though like the family thing happened.
mhm,
Um, I was like, just maybe, like
mhm.
just maybe. And it's probably because I'm just like, what is here? Like I see more between him and Dina than I do him and Juliana. But again, the big family thing, I'm sure drew him in, and he loved that
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
the father was like, I admire the fact that you can keep the family together like this.
yeah. Yeah, I think that was a big draw for him for sure because he seems to be like, I want to be connected. I want to be in a family. I want to be. Because even when he describes his story with his family, he's like, it was just me and my sister, my mom got remarried, my dad was trying to get his life together, and it was just me and my sister. I'm like, I always find that odd because I'm like, you guys are living with somebody. I guess the moms, but I guess all the stories he tells feel like there's just disconnection, and so I feel like that is going to be a big draw for him and Juliana, and I do think it's going to be between her and Latia. I don't know who he's going to choose. It is I am concerned that it's gonna be Juliana, but I just don't see it. She seems so basic to me. Like even her sister was very much like when she sat with her. Side note, she looked like one of the versions of Christina not Milian. What is her name? Christina Aguilera. Yes,
Yeah.
that was about one of them phases. Whenever she did a dark hair phase, I was like, you given, that phase of her. But, she seemed to be like, I'm not super" what did she say? Because I don't wanna misquote her, but she said something like she's still trying to feel it
Yeah.
out a little bit or something.
Mhm.
She wasn't sold, and that gave me like, sister's not sold, okay. Um, they're just to me, they're very bubblegum. It feels like it lacks substance, like, their
Yeah.
relationship. Um
I feel
But
like if he picks Juliana over any of the other women, even Zoe, I feel like he's gonna be regretting his decision.
maybe, but we'll talk about Zoe later. But like, I don't know. I know when they did that little pizza visit, I was sitting there like, somebody need to put on gloves. Like, what's happening with this? Touching her the dough. She scratched her hair at one point. Like, I have a very big ick about things like that. Like, I get very like wash your hands. Y'all have
Yes.
kitchen. I saw that the guy had on gloves who was the owner, but he didn't have them put on gloves or no hair nets or nothing. I don't know. I was like, y'all tossing
Maybe they
pieces of
said we
meat.
making it for the family, so it don't matter.
I guess. I
It's
guess.
very it's like
But
calling them TikTok.
when they were throwing the flour, I was just like, come on, like y'all
Yeah,
need some like. I mean, maybe they wash their hands. Cool. But I know I saw her do something and then touch her hair and then go back to it, and I was like, eh, you know.
yeah,
But that stood out to me in the beginning of that. But like, oh, I don't know. They're not. They're not my favorite.
yeah, for sure. Alrighty, so let's move on to Zoe.
So, can I say a thing or two? I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I thought the photo shoot was a bit much. I really did. Cause I'm like, he hasn't proposed yet. It just felt like, okay,
premature.
what a dress. Where like it felt like it was pushing it too fast, and it felt a little almost reminiscent of like Parisa's uh
Power.
PowerPoint. It's like you're projecting this, and it's like it's weird. And he's like, okay, this ring, I'm gonna put it on. Like, I you know,
You could tell he was a little nervous about it all. Yeah.
I mean, they
They,
were
I
cute.
think they looked really cute in the pictures. Um, but I definitely was like, I don't know how this is gonna read at this stage. Of developing these relationships, and I was like, it could have been a cute little picnic date photo shoot. It could have still been a photo shoot, but maybe of a
No
different theme.
engagement.
But when he said, when I saw Zoe in the dress, I was just like amazed and wow. And I was like, okay, well maybe he had a little glimmer of like she'll be beautiful on a wedding day.
Yeah, that's what she said, that she wanted him to see her like that. I just felt like it gave a tad bit of cringe, just a little bit, because I
Yeah,
was just like, it's a little like it hasn't happened yet. And it feels like you said, if you want to do a photo shoot, I do feel like it could be something that was less, it could be a picnic, date. It could be about y'all love.
yeah.
And I think he would have not, I mean, maybe he wasn't uncomfortable. I don't know. He seemed a little at the ring part, you know what I mean?
The
At
ring
the
part, he was definitely like, oh, like what finger, what, ooh, like, ooh,
yeah, like get on this
yeah,
knee, because it's like, I haven't done this yet. That's what I would be thinking if I was him. I'd be like, I haven't done this yet. I haven't asked her yet. But I'm being like, I have to do this photo shoot. Like, that's how I would feel. I'd be like, I have to do this photo shoot. Like, I didn't ask her yet. We're not engaged yet. Like, I don't haven't made a decision yet. Like, this feels like a false piece of history if I don't choose her. Like, so I
right.
thought it was a little off to me.
Yeah, he did say it felt a little surreal. That's what he said.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I felt
yeah.
like that was his careful word choice in that moment.
Hmm.
But he was hinting at like this might be a little much.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
think by
yeah.
the end of it, he definitely like warmed up to the idea, possibly.
Hmm.
Well, just
Hmm.
based off of his reaction when she was in the wedding dress. But
Hmm.
definitely during the engagement piece, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is gonna go over the way she wanted it to.
Yeah. What'd you think about her family visit, like with her? Because so it was clarification that that wasn't
Right,
her family. She's not in contact with her family, and I was like, all of that tracks. And it almost like, I think in one of the past episodes, I was saying something about how like you were saying like you grew up in also a predominantly white area, but you didn't really feel a certain way about being the only black or the only black girl or whatever. But I was like, it probably has a lot to do with your home environment and how you were supported and fed in your home environment versus maybe what she experienced. And so that right there, I was like, that kind of tracks. It makes me
right.
feel like maybe she didn't feel. as supported in that home environment. Maybe some of that contributed to their relationship fracturing now. And I thought that was very interesting. But I think that's very brave of her to to set the boundaries that she needs to set, and she does seem like she has community outside of her parents, her
Yeah.
adopted parents. So,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely. It's actually it's a great boundary because I don't think people realize how hard it is to separate yourself from like toxic households and
mhm,
toxic upbringings because it's just like an abusive relationship, right? Like a romantic
mhm,
one. You always ask yourself like why do survivors stay, right? And like it's the same dynamic even when it's your caregivers. And so yeah, I would love Zoe to come on the show and talk about her story because I want to know. I'm very interested.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I thought that was beautiful, and I was also wondering, like, is this her biological aunt, or is this the brother of her adopted parents? And that's how, yeah, like they're
Yeah, how
related.
that connection is,
Wondering
yeah.
what the connection
Mhm,
was for that, but they seem to be very protective of Zoe, very, loving on Zoe, which I think
mhm,
Grant also picked up on, um,
mhm,
which ultimately is why I think she ended up getting the rose over Dina, outside of the fact that
mhm,
Dina's family just didn't participate, because I did
mhm,
feel like maybe he liked Dina a little bit more than Zoe,
mhm,
um, like on like a serious level,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
But even him saying like we have so many like commonalities when it comes to family and like what we want in the future for our family, and I think also being able to see her like overcome her challenges and then
mhm,
develop her own community like outside
mhm.
of the
It
family
feels
that she grew up
resiliency.
in, right? I think he sees like a lot of respect for her in that.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it shows resiliency, and I think that what he was saying, to her sister, that, like, I don't necessarily, need it to be cookie cutter, and not having a cookie cutter family actually makes me feel like I can relate to that more. So yeah, I mean, there's something there, but whenever they do the next cut, I don't think Zoe's making it past this because I just think for whatever reason he's really into
Julia,
Juliana.
yeah,
But yeah, kudos to her for making it this far because I do think that there is something there that no one else is like picking up on that he sees, and like that's for him to decide, what he likes, what he picks up on, what he sees. And I think that there's something that he does see in her that we just are not like him, and so we
yeah.
don't have, well, not
Well,
we,
I
but
was wondering, like, how, because he said, like, like, he started the date off with, like, we need this today. Like, we need to figure out how we're going to grow our relationship, which I thought was interesting because I'm like, if you felt like you just hadn't got there yet, why didn't she get a one on
Mhm,
one?
mhm,
And at the
mhm,
same time, I was like, does he feel so like related to her, right? Like, do the things that they have in common kind of like make it this like instant, oh, this is all that I need to know, that he didn't feel like he had to like dig a
oh,
little bit deeper with
deeper.
like the super over romantic date. I don't know. I was trying to figure it out like through this episode, but it seemed like neither one of them are at the part where they're saying like I'm falling in love with
Mhm.
you. They're the only
And
two that
he said that for Juliana and Litia. He
like
said he was falling for Juliana in the beginning of their date. He didn't say it to her, I don't know. I think he said it to us. But
yeah.
like I'm falling for her. It makes me giddy. That's what he said. Something like I feel giddy, and I was like, oh Lord, because I just really think Juliana is very basic. Like just
Yeah.
personally,
I do
yeah.
hope it's Zoe at the end, Zoe and Latia.
Zoe and Litia. I don't think it's gonna be Zoe and Litia. I think
Yeah, I'm not 100% like confident that it's gonna be, but I do hope mainly I mean like
Now if it's Zoe and Latia, if it's Zoe and Latia, I will be shocked. Like knock me over with a feather because I will be shocked. I will be shocked because like and if it is Zoe and Latia, I'll be like, that's a testament to how we ain't gotta see what he sees. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying in the sense of like we ain't gotta see her as a worthy person because I think she, is fine. I'm saying, like, we don't have to see the connection
Right.
they have. We don't have to know exactly what is it that he draws. It's something, and they didn't show it or whatever, but there's
Yeah.
something because if she gets to the end and it's the back and forth between Latia and Zoe, I will have to recalibrate and rethink everything because I that would shock me. That would shock me.
I just feel like what is the holdup between Juliana and Latia? Like when I think about the back and forth he could be having, I just don't see why it would be such a fight between Juliana and Latia. I can see why it could be a fight between Zoe and Latia, but I don't see it with Juliana and Latia. I feel
See
like
it.
if it's Juliana and Latia, it's Latia.
I see it. I think it's the Mormon thing, like you said before. Like I think it's he. I think he will be wrestling between. Do I go with the one that I really like? That seems like she is going to be a good mother, and we're going to have a good, very sweet life, or do I wanna go with the one who's a little bit spunkier? She's got a big family. I mean, like, she's like, when I say spunkier, she seems like she's gonna party and be out there with him if he wants to do that, and then she also seems like she'll be like, "I'll play the housewife if you need that." Like, she seems more versatile for, like, Latia looks seems like she's about to be barefoot and pregnant.
Right.
Other girl seems like she's gonna be, we'll party and then we'll settle down when we need to settle down. And then at times we can be partying, like she seems like she has both. And so I think that would be his decision. Is like, do I want a sweet girl that I can also party with? Or do I want a sweet girl that's gonna like have which is what he is, like just gonna have like a very calm, quiet life,
Yeah.
I think that's sort of, and I have these Mormon things that I
Yeah.
gotta wrestle with. So I think that's it. Like I think they're similar in the sense that they're just sweet girls, like
Yeah.
and Latia's kind of basic. I'm not, I say a lot about Juliana, but Latia's kind of basic too. She's just basic with standards. Like she just seems like a type of girl who moves according and lives her life according to her values.
Yeah.
And she seems very principled. Juliana seems very more so just sweet. I just
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would be Latia and Zoe because it's like, do I wrestle with this idea, with this religion, and how I'm going to raise my family? Or do I choose like someone who is similar to me in terms of upbringing? And I know that we're both committed to wanting to break generational curses and build together. And what did she say at the beginning? Power couple. I don't
but
know. I don't know. I don't see it with Juliana.
what I mean, I do not see what he sees. It's the same thing with Zoe. It's like
Yeah,
he
right.
sees something in both of them. I see something more in Zoe than I would see in Juliana if I was like Grant, right? But there's an element to Zoe that is very sharp. That's
Yeah.
the part to me that doesn't bode well with Grant. It's something about her that's edgy and sharp and not sweet and soft. And
Yeah.
I think that he is looking for sweet and soft and motherly and whatever, And I think Juliana and Latia give that sweet, soft, in different fonts, like Juliana, like I said, I think she has a little more party girl in her, a little more versatility to be like mainstream. Latia. He's going to be living a very calm life with Latia. And I think that he would have been okay with that had he not realized the Mormon piece of it. Like
Yeah.
I think that is the thing that says like it's like the rock that holds this piece of paper right to the ground. Like it is
Right.
not moving from this calm,
Yes.
sweet life space. That's the rock. But with Juliana, it's like the paper can maybe float up a little bit in the wind because she's like, she's not firmly planted in anything other than like her family and her culture.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. But yeah, we definitely would think because he definitely said, "Do I have to become Mormon to be with this girl?"
But he said he got the answer to the question, and he didn't feel like that was it. But yeah, I don't know if Zoe, like I said, I would be surprised if
Yeah.
Zoe would. between Zoe and Latia, just based on what he shared he's looking for. So,
Yeah.
but I did expect Dina, to like not be here. Like
Yeah.
I would have been surprised if Zoe went home today over Dina, especially like with her family not being there. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was really rough for, Grant
Dina.
because
Oh,
he yeah, 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 just because he really wants that whole family vibe, and so it would be
mm-hmm.
really hard, I think, for him to, like, be taken in by these huge families with Juliana and Litia, and then, like, get this wholesome, together vibe of, like, my chosen family with Zoe, and then go to, "Here's my friends," you
Yeah,
know? Um,
yeah.
and it's really hard when you can't look someone's, I'm sure, like, father figure in the face and, like, have that one-on-one
Mhm.
conversation, and this is coming from your father who is a pastor, and so I
Yeah,
think, right,
yeah.
like, in terms of religion in contrast to Latia, at least he got to see with
What
this religion in place, I'm still accepted versus Dina
mhm,
with your family's religion, like, they're not buying into this process, so will they buy
mhm,
into me as
mhm,
your partner in the future?
mhm.
And so I think it's a hard one to come back from for sure.
No, I agree. Um, I agree, the friends were cool, but, ain't nothing like the real thing, baby.
Mm,
So, she did seem like not broken up about it at all. She seemed very calm and collected. And that's what part of me felt like, yeah, this is given that she would be like this. I mean, what she said make perfect sense. Like, if he's not my person, I don't want that. But also, like, she didn't seem as broken up as the other women when they have left the situation, especially for her to be that far along. And so it feels like he definitely made a good choice, because I do think that even if somebody's not your person, if you had really strong feelings for them, I think there would be a little bit of more emotion. She was like delivering her little closing arguments, She
right,
she
literally. She
wasn't
was
very.
stone faced. I said the lawyer entered the
I
building.
know,
Okay.
I know.
He said, I prayed. If this isn't for me, I don't want
Yes,
this to be today.
yes,
Which I was all for. I said round of applause on
yeah.
that one because
Mhm.
don't continue to take me down this road if it's not me, right? And then my feelings develop even deeper for you. But I think it gives like a little like insight to the realistic nature of this. Like at this point, like realistically, how deep can the feelings be? Like I think they are deep for some people, right? But I think almost to like Carolina's point, like we just met this man realistically, right? Like, I don't know how much like I really really like you, especially in this context where there's all these other women involved, and maybe like our one-on-one time hasn't been spent on really like developing a more like intimate relationship with. If we go back to their one-on-one date, right, like their one-on-one date was very serious. It was very
Mhm.
much so like you don't have to be the one giving, 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 and like kind of breaking down this idea of what he had as a wife
Mhm.
versus I can see this with you and like I can really, see a future with you and this is how we would be with kids and but I say, well, like he was with the other women on their one-on-ones, or
Mhm.
just talking about a struggle.
Yeah, I've
Um,
never even heard him mention kids with her, but
yeah.
he might have. I just don't remember it. But yeah, so I don't know. The preview they showed for next week is gonna be the women's reunion. I didn't know they do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, usually if like the girls are really catty to each other, that drama will be highlighted. And like on past seasons, right? Like there's been guys who are just like really douchey, which Grant wasn't, right? Like
Mhm.
I remember it was
There's
one,
been bachelors who've been really douchey.
yeah, like hooking up with everybody on one dates, all types of stuff, child. So, like when those things are brought up, right? Like women can like confront the bachelor and be like, "You did this and you did this and you were supposed to protect me and you didn't." Shout out to
Mm,
Gabby. That was Gabby's season, child.
I know her.
Yes, you do for the traders.
Who's Gabby? Is Gabby the one who's like she's like one of the Bambies?
Yes.
Oh, she was on The Bachelor?
She was a bachelor, and then she became the season's pick for Bachelorette. But
Oh,
during the
okay.
Bachelor, she on like it was like the top three after like overnights, and she kindly declined the rose. Um, and then she gave this speech at the Women Tell All saying, like, yeah, no, you're actually not what a man is supposed to be. And so that's how, like, Gabby became cemented in Bachelor history. So when it's stuff like that, right, like the Women Tell All is pretty juicy. But yeah, we don't know with
Mhm.
this one because Grant wasn't really, not saying he
Yeah,
was supposed to be, but it
yeah,
wasn't given, making mistakes left and right and mistreating.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, we'll see, I guess, next week.
All right, y'all. Well, like we said, this is Black Girls Talking TV. Make sure you hit the notification and the subscribe button, and we will see you later. Bye.